All Stop Sports. What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Back with another video. We're going to talk some more boxing. But first and foremost, shout out to the LDBC. Now, yesterday was the first press conference for the fight between Terence Crawford and Felix Diaz, which is going to take place on May 20th at Madison Square Garden. And Terence was doing some interviews where he stated that he feels he won't get credit for beating Manny Pacquiao or beating Vasil Lomachenko. Now, I'm going to go ahead and put the link in the description for this article from Boxing Scene. I'm going to read what Terence had to say, and then I'm going to give my thoughts on it. So Terence starts out by saying, I never get all the credit I deserve, but that's boxing. I take it and roll with it, and just keep on winning and doing what I have to do to become one of the greats. Beating Lomachenko and Pacquiao, all they'll do is criticize me. They're going to say the same thing. Lomachenko is too small, or Pacquiao's past his prime. And then Terence continues, so it'll take me to fight somebody in their prime that they think, oh, well, you've got these two guys in their prime and they're fighting each other, and Terence beat him in tremendous fashion. Maybe they'll give me my credit then, but who knows? The article says the 29-year-old Crawford expects to eventually move up to 147, though he's not sure that'll silence his critics either. It's going to be the same thing, because when I was at 135, everybody was screaming, oh, he's too big for 35. The same thing that they're saying right now is the same thing that they were saying when I was at 135. Then when I moved up, I had like 2 fights, and they was like, oh, you need to move up to 147. I was like, well, I just moved up to 140. So when I move up to 147, they're going to be like, you need to go up to 154 and fight Klitschko. When asked why some people keep pressing him to move up, Crawford claimed it's because they can't wait for him to suffer his first professional defeat. When you look at it, when you have a good fighter that's on the verge of being great, you want to do any and everything you possibly can to see him lose. Same thing they did with Mayweather. You know, wanting Mayweather to fight a Triple G, knowing how big Triple G is, but you want the odds to be so stacked against this man so he can just lose. So it's never going to stop. And I got to be honest with you, I agree with Terence 100%. Because when you go to his box rec, let's just go over the opponents and see if he's gotten any credit for fighting these guys. The only credit that I feel he's actually gotten from media and boxing writers was when he moved up on 2 weeks' notice and defeated Bradis Prescott in a unanimous decision. He was fighting at 135 at the time, moved up to 140, and clearly outclassed Prescott, who also knocked out Amir Khan. Ricky Burns, everybody expected Crawford to take that belt in Scotland, so nobody was surprised by that. Yuriorkis Gamboa, they say that Gamboa was too small. Ray Beltran, they criticized him as being a sparring partner for Manny Pacquiao. Thomas Delorme, who was just coming down from 147 and met Crawford at 140, got stopped by Terence, but they said that wasn't impressive by Terence because Delorme was controlling the early portion of the fight. They said Thierry Jean is too small. Hank Lundy was too small. They criticized Terence's performance against Victor Postal, but yet Victor Postal stopped Lucas Matisse, who they thought was the boogeyman of the 140-pound division at one point in time. And then he clearly outclassed John Molina Jr., which I considered to be a stay busy fight. That wasn't to be expected to have too much competition in it. We all knew that Terence was on a different level. And now Felix Diaz. And once he fights and beats Felix Diaz in May, they're going to criticize him and say Felix Diaz was too small. But Felix Diaz is the same fighter that came out and said Terence Crawford was ducking him. And Terence made it pretty clear at the press conference to make us know that he's not ducking Felix Diaz. They asked him for his pound-for-pound rankings, and Terence said Andre Ward is number 1 without a doubt, but he put himself at number 2. And with what Terence Crawford has been recently doing in boxing, it's hard to argue that point. Unified champion, beat another undefeated fighter, and he keeps chasing greatness. But like he said, whether or not he moves up to 147, the way his skill set and his style is, I feel like he is going to have success at 147. Yes, the fighters will be bigger, but Terence has tremendous footwork. His power may not transition as well to 147 as it did to 140, but that's fine. The way that he moves and his defense and how sharp his boxing is, and the ability to switch stances at the snap of a thumb, at the snap of a finger, is the reason why I believe his success will be just as good at 147 as it's been at 140. I think we just need to find a way to enjoy the progress of these fighters. You can't keep calling for guys to move up and get beat. We saw what happened to Adrian Broner. Now, some would say he couldn't make the weight anymore. Others say he just was eager to move up and be like Floyd Mayweather, and that's what led to his demise by Marcos Maidana. I don't see that same thing happening to Terence, though. I think his skill set and his ability to adjust and adapt to whatever that fighter can present is why I feel like he has a long career that will be successful and be on the path to the Hall of Fame one day. So, after he beats Felix Diaz, I look forward to hearing the critics talk about how small Felix was and how they want Terence to move up to 147. But if Terence Crawford ever hears this video, I urge him to take as much time as he can in moving up, because once he's there, he can't go back. And I'm excited for him to move up, though, because I can't wait for him to knock off those guys at 147 so we can really start seeing what they're going to say if they continue to criticize him or if they'll start to call him, put his name amongst the greats like it already should be. But we're going to cut this one off, man. All Stop Sports. Let me know what y'all think. We out.